The USS Midway is an aircraft carrier that was commissioned in the year 1945. It was once the largest ship in the world until 1955. It operated for an unprecedented 47 years. During its time, it served during the Vietnam War and Operation Desert Sandstorm. The USS Midway was decommissioned on April 11, 1992, and now resides at a museum in San Diego. The museum is a non-profit organization that is run by many amazing volunteers. One amazing individual has put in over 4,000 hours into providing service into the Midway, as well as providing 48 years of service to his country in the U.S. Navy.
My name is Charles Montgomery. I retired from the military 33 years ago. I retired as a Chief Petty Officer in the Navy, and I was a yeoman. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, and San Diego is presently my home now. Grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I used to be able to get on my bike, leave home in the morning, and my mom wouldn't see me until any time that evening. I got home before dark, but I can be gone all day, and my mom never worried about me. It was a fun time. I mean, we played games, we played football, we played baseball. Everything was in the streets. We played hide and go seek. We had skates. The technology wasn't there. I mean, we had record players, radio, AM and F. The TV only had 3 channels, ABC, CBS, and NBC. You might have one UHF channel. You didn't have color. You had black and white TV. So you didn't stay inside. We played outside. There were no video games. Whether that's a good thing, hey, I'm not going to compare my childhood with today's childhood. It's different. It was a whole different lifestyle back then. High school was a lot of fun. I think it took graduation from high school to realize that those 4 years are the best years of your life. And when I say that, you have the first real girlfriend, boyfriend. You're establishing yourself among your peers. There are no commitments per se except school. You get up in the morning, you go to school, you've got all these classes you go to, you have all these people you're dealing with every day. And you got proms and you got dances. We had what we call sock hops. We used to have them every Friday. Football games, basketball games. There was no pressure except for an exam. But those are the best years of your life. And then all of a sudden, you graduate. And now life says, okay, let's get started. Now you're on your own. Now you have to make decisions. You know, you don't, other than deciding what you're going to wear in the morning or what you're going to do for the weekend or something like that. But high school was great. I loved high school. I was a 18-year-old, graduated from high school. I was in New Orleans, Louisiana, during a time where segregation was rampant and there was no jobs. So joining the Navy was my out. 22 years later, it was a great choice. I knew my family could not afford college, and I knew I was not going to get a scholarship. So the military was my out. My time in the Navy was a big learning curve, because when we come out of high school, as an 18-year-old, you think you know it all. and you realize you don't know anything. Because number one, you're put in an environment that you've never imagined, you've never experienced, and then you're with a whole bunch of people that you're not used to. And it's just one big learning experience. When you make that first deployment, you're wild. You're wowed by the factors of a new things you've never seen before, you've only read about. Japan was a wow factor for me. The Philippines was a wow factor. All these places you've read about, and now you get to experience it. And then as a young 18-year-old, you're free, and you tend to blow off a lot of steam. Everyone has goals, and my goals was to be a chief petty officer. And the enlisted rank, you start off at the bottom of the ladder, and you're always looking up. And I just kept going up, going up, going up. That was my goal. I obtained it. And if I'd have stayed in any longer, I would have probably aspired to go to E8 or E9. A yeoman is a person who handles all of the ship's correspondence. I did officer service records. I did the legal system. I handled all of the administrative work that's required of the ship. I worked directly under the executive officer, opened all the mail, typed all the mail. I was a typist. I ran an office, so I was an office manager, if you want to call it that. I handled leave records. Anything administrative, anything paperwork, I did. Time goes by. I wanted to stay in. I had been in the military 22 years, and I realized there were some changes that were coming about. Had a family. I kind of wanted to stay home. It was time. And everybody knows that point when you get to that, it's time. I worked for the Department of Justice for another 26 years and retired. And I needed something else to do. I think when you retire, you have to have something to do. And coming to Midway was that something to do for me. And I've been doing it now for almost 8 years. Our usual routine we can choose a calendar. We have a calendar on the Midway, and the calendar is good for 3 months. So we as safeties, we can pick and choose what days we want to volunteer. We can volunteer a morning shift, an afternoon shift, or all day. So you go into the calendar and you choose and you click your name on. Once you come aboard, you pick up a radio, you let your safety lead know you're here. And the next thing that we do is we wait, we have a meeting, we know all of the activities that are going on for the day. Then we're assigned watches. We have an entrance watch, we have an exit watch, we have a Brow 5 watch, we do flight deck rover, and then we roam the ship. We do the complete tour route just to make sure the guests are behaving themselves for one thing, and there's no safety hazards that can harm our guests. We also do first aid, CPR, if that's necessary. Volunteering means giving something back. When you volunteer, it's because you want to do it. It's not because you have to do it. You make a commitment. Midway asked us volunteers to do 20 hours a month. 20 hours a month is not really a lot of time. It can be, for some people, it could be the max that they can do. But one thing about volunteering is that you're doing it because you want to do it. If you're working, you have to do it. In order to get a paycheck, you have to get up, go to work for 8, and you get off at a certain time. With me as a volunteer, I can say, okay, I'm going to be here tomorrow, the next day, or whatever day I desire. If I decide that I'm going to go home, I tell my lead, hey, you know one thing, I think I'm going, I don't feel good, for whatever reason. But I'm here because I want to be here. And I enjoy the people that I work with. Live and let live. I try not to relive my past, but I look forward to my future. And things that I can't change, I don't even worry about. I handle today, and yesterday is gone, tomorrow isn't here yet. So let's do the now. Come down to Midway and volunteer. We can always use some diversity. We can always use another body. So if anybody who's out there that has some extra time, come down to the Midway. We can always use you.